What's up, everybody? Philip Webb here again. I feel like I shouldn't say my name because you know who it is, but you may be watching this for the first time and you have no idea what my name is. Not that that matters very much. I'm here, I'm on this channel primarily to promote others or talk craft, storytelling craft if possible. But I wanted to share something really cool with you. So I don't need to pull my hair back that much, but I want to get my hair back further anyway. So you can see I had brain surgery. I was 13 years old. Anyway, I had a really awesome professor, Miss Brasilet. Shout out to you. Hope you're still around. She gifted me. Check this out. First edition Valentine. She gifted these to me. Look at Tolkien. Let's see here. Sorry. This pipe. Isn't that cool? Look at that. You see the Valentine? Anyway, some of you are probably familiar with these copies. She gifted these to me. And, man, what a treasure. Very cool. Still a big Tolkien fan. What I liked most about Lord of the Rings was, well, there's a lot, but the Fellowship is a big part. Persevering, fighting evil, continuing to battle the evil forces. There's so much. Where do I start with Lord of the Rings? I remember I read The Two Towers and The Return of the King in 7th and 8th grade. I didn't read The Fellowship of the Ring actually until 2015 or 2016. It was a big time gap. It was like from 2001, 2002 to 2016. So I took my time in reading The Fellowship of the Ring. Just the idea of like Stephen King, his story, I guess, would it be a novella? I think it's a novella. The Body, which most of us know as Stand By Me, is the movie version of the story. But Stand By Me, Frodo and Sam, Merry and Pippin, Aragorn, Gimli and Legolas, Gandalf, the Ents. There's so much. Theoden, can't remember the guy. His brother and sister. He was one of the Rohirrim horse riders. Galadriel, one of the elves. Arwen and Eowyn. Eowyn was the sister. Arwen was Aragorn's lover, but Eowyn wanted to be Aragorn's lover, but it was Arwen, the elf, who ultimately had his heart. It seems to parallel World War II a lot. Sauron, the evil eye, is basically like Adolf Hitler, and the Nazis, I guess, would be the orcs and the other evil people fighting with Sauron. I guess it's timeless to me. I love that Tolkien cared about the little folk, the hobbits. And I think I'll primarily talk about hobbits here for a minute because to me the hobbits are such an interesting race of people within Middle Earth. I think they're probably my favorite. Start out with Bilbo Baggins and his adventures in The Hobbit. It was interesting because, again, Tolkien, I already recorded a video and I screwed it up at the end, so I had to restart, and that's fine. I've got the time to do it, and I want to do it, so I'm doing it. They hire Bilbo as a thief to steal the jewels. It's the Arkenstone, I think, is what it is, from the dragon Smaug. And Bilbo is living in the Shire, living in Hobbiton in the Shire, which is like the nice part of Hobbiton. You know, it's like the ritzy area of Hobbiton, and he lives in the Shire, and he's just kind of doing his thing, tending to his garden, smoking pipe tobacco, trying to stay away from his family. And Gandalf shows up, and I'm not entirely sure how Bilbo knows Gandalf. I think it's kind of mentioned in the Silmarillion some. But anyways, he's like, "You're gonna have some visitors," and we're like, "Okay." And all these dwarfs show up, right? And he gets to a point where he's like, "I think I'm gonna turn back. This is getting to be too much. I'm in over my head." And I forgot which dwarf it was, but the one dwarf says to him, like, "I wish you the best. This is our fight, and I understand that you don't want to be part of our fight. You don't have to. I wish you the best in your life." And Bilbo stays, right? And interestingly enough, Riddles in the Dark, where Bilbo stumbles into Gollum and finds the One Ring of Power, was initially not in The Hobbit when it was first written by Tolkien. He included that chapter. He added that chapter in, revised it, added it in to basically introduce Lord of the Rings, which Frodo is given the ring by Bilbo, and then Gandalf finds out about this and is like, "You need to make it to Elrond's place, Rivendell. We got to have a meeting there." He's like, "Meet me." I think he actually tells him, "Meet him at the Prancing Pony." Something happens to Gandalf. Well, he runs into Saruman, and Saruman locks him up and all that good stuff. There's so much, if you're familiar with the movies, you probably already know the storyline. I don't need to recount every little detail. But one part, and this isn't the exact quote, but Sam is talking to Frodo about, like, there's a reason to keep fighting, that there's hope, that, to see another day, that things can go back to being kind of peaceful again, for the most part, where evil forces aren't trying to destroy us all and enslave us. He said that's worth fighting for, the little bit of good in life, that we can be in the Shire and live without fear of being killed or enslaved. And I thought, Sam's probably, sorry, I'm not picking my nose. I had some bunny rabbits in here, and there's bunny fur floating around, so it's like, it's working its way to my nose, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But I thought Sam probably not my favorite Hobbit, because I don't have a favorite Hobbit. Like, I really enjoy all the different Hobbits that are introduced: Merry, Pippin, Frodo, Sam, Bilbo. And in Smeagol, well, he was a halfling, so he was kind of like a hobbit, but they're different. They're not quite hobbits. Not sure on the technicalities what the difference is, but I know they're not the same. I know that. Yeah, I love the story. I love that Frodo couldn't throw the ring in, and ironically, it was Gollum who destroyed the ring, who bit it off his finger, and was like, fell off into the Mount Doom. I feel like Mount Doom is too much like Doctor Doom or MF Doom, which I just, there's too many Dooms going on in this world now. It's confusing, but Mordor was the land of Sauron, and Minas Tirith, Minas Morgul. I think there's some more Minuses in there, but Minas Morgul was, I think, where the ring wraiths hung out. I don't know. The ring wraiths were another evil forces, man. What do you guys think? Leave in the comments. What do you think about ring wraiths? Apparently, they were the kings of men. The men that were kings that had the 9 rings of. They had 9 rings given to them, and they all turned into ring wraiths. Are they demons? Are they ghouls? I don't. They're ring wraiths, but it's just like, whoa, that's dark. That's evil. Anyway, I guess that's all. This is a shorter video, but if you haven't read Lord of the Rings, maybe check it out. Give it a go. You can probably find paperback trade paperbacks for pretty cheap. If you are aware of it and it's not your thing, like you think Lord of the Rings is boring and you don't like Tolkien, that's fine. I understand, and I respect that opinion as well. That observation that you don't like it. I love it. It's funny because it is fantasy, of the fantasy genre, which I'm not really into fantasy in any other way. I primarily read extreme horror these days. Willing to go into sci-fi and speculative fiction, some thrillers, murder mysteries, stuff like that. But fantasy is kind of like, Tolkien is really the only fantasy writer that I really got into, for whatever that's worth. I never got into George R.R. Martin. Which is funny. I think he's got it's like JRR, George R.R. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But never got into him. I've got some R.A. Salvador. Is that right? R.A. Salvador? I think so. He wrote like a Dark Elf trilogy with ice and dark elves and the snow and stuff like that. Anyway, I think it's R.A. Salvador. I'm pretty sure. I've got it in my bookshelf. Didn't bring it out with me, but yeah. The Hobbit is another interesting story. The Silmarillion is, just real quick, and then I'll sign off. The Silmarillion is a collection of stories that all kind of intertwine, but it's I think it's like the first, second, and third ages of Middle Earth. And it reads more like a history book, to be honest. A lot of family trees going on, a lot of lineage through these different characters that you have to keep track of all of them. And there's pages on the back with family trees and stuff that, shows you who came from who, and who the dynasties are. And it gets much more into discussion about the elves and the Silmarils, which were the jewels made specifically for the elves. And then this guy that was originally called Melkor, who they renamed Morgoth, because they're like, we'll never call him Melkor again. He stole the rings. And then, yeah, chaos ensues. It's a very sad kind of story. There is hope in the end, but it's it's pretty sad. Morgoth pretty much destroys most all of the elves, which is why when we get to Lord of the Rings, the elves are kind of like this hidden people, and they're scattered, and there's not that many of them. Well, if you read the Silmarillion, you find out why that is, what happened in the first, second, and third ages of Middle Earth. Well, shit, I'll just tell you right now. When the Silmarils were taken from the elves, they made this pact, this undying creed, like this eternal, or we're going to get these back, and if we don't, then all of us elves shall perish. And Morgoth was like, good luck with that, because I'm one of the gods, one of the Iluvatar, one of the Inu. I don't know. It's been a while since I read that too. I think Iluvatar is like the main god, almighty god kind of thing, and then the Aenir. I think it's the Aenir. Yeah, they're like the gods of God, and then the elves come next, and then there's the dwarfs. Funny story about the dwarfs, but I'll let you read it, Silmarillion, if you want to check it out. All right, I'm at about 15 minutes, so that's great for this review. It wasn't as much of a review, but again, bear with me. I'm still new to these video reviews, and I wanted to do another one today because I'm feeling motivated. And again, it's an older story. It's been around for quite a while, but maybe it's time to reread The Lord of the Rings, or watch it if you don't want to read it. Anyway, I will catch you all later. See ya.